Mic'd up.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 3 of Highlights from Lowlifes. We're happy you're all joining us again. Tonight's topic, your top 5 baseball nicknames. So who are we? We are the Lowlifes. Tonight's panel consists of Jeff Jones, Jeff, Rob Lannerman, and for the I just dropped everything.
No problem. We're good. We're live.
He's
We're live.
very suave and the boner.
It was an earthquake.
And our new host is Terry Lee, his first show. Terry.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Terry, you may remember Terry from his time in the film Surf Nazis Must Die. Look it up. You'll see him.
It was an honorable mention in our sports film debate.
It's a surf movie.
Yeah, that's right.
Very nice.
So the Lowlifes are a group of people who met playing adult league baseball together, became good friends, and then the pandemic hit. And we were looking for something to do. We decided to start a Zoom happy hour. That happy hour became 3 hours. We talked about anything and everything for about a year, and then we decided we needed to put topics on each call and give people homework so they could come prepared to the meetings to provide input on such important topics as the top 5 Batman villains and topics like that. We were introduced to the folks that mic'd up, and after lots of pleading with them, they agreed to let us have a show here on the platform. And we will do the top 5 from time to time. On other nights, we're going to have guests. But if you want to know a little bit more about us, we will soon be coming out with a web page and some social media outlets for you. Until then, let's get to it with tonight's topic, the top 5 baseball nicknames that you've run across. This is your opinion. We've got a lot of input from our fans. What's that, Terry?
First of all, what is your nickname?
Oh, I have no nickname.
Well,
Douche. I hear that a lot.
Le Douche.
Yeah, well, that's in Montreal. Le Grand Douche.
So I think it's important for folks that want to participate tonight. You can leave us your top 5 by commenting during the show.
And your nickname.
And your nickname. Hit the microphone, and you've got 30 seconds to record your inputs for the evening, and we will play them on the air if they sound good to us. So let's start with number 5. Jeff, why don't you go first?
All right. Give me 1 second here.
Oh, he's always got props.
No.
Oh, he's got better than props. He has an almanac beer.
What are you drinking?
So with this list, this subject, I could do a top 20 and tomorrow have a completely different top 20 and the next day have a completely different top 20 because there are just so many. But I'm going to start with a guy. What do you call a guy who routinely plays doubleheaders and pitches the entire game one game and then catches the entire game the next game?
Marathon Man.
Ted Double Duty Ratcliffe of the old Negro League.
Wow,
that's a throwback. When did Ted play?
This was the 30s, 40s. Yeah. And there's famous stories about when they would do these barnstorming tours on 4th of July. It was a tradition that they would get 4 games in from different towns close by. They would figure out a way to schedule it. He would catch one, pitch one, catch one, pitch one.
There's no way that any of us could do that.
Yeah.
Ever.
To me, if you get in the crouch once, that's it. You don't get out of the
You're
crouch.
done. You're done. All right.
All right.
Double duty Radcliffe.
Like it.
Good choice.
Robbie.
All right, my number 5. It's a 5-way tie.
So you clearly didn't understand the assignment.
No,
good.
I understood the assignment. I just took liberties with it. My number 5 guy got his main nickname and what most people believe is his real name when he was playing for the minor league Baltimore Orioles. In order to get him out of the Jesuit school he was attending, the owner, Jack Dunn, had to adopt him. And so the rest of the players kept calling him Jack Dunn's Babe. George Herman Babe Ruth. So we've got Babe, we've got the Colossus of Clout, we've got the King of Crash, we have the Sultan of SWAT, and we have the Great Bambino.
Wow.
So, yeah. He's got 5 of the best nicknames ever.
I was wondering if you were just going to do a top 5 of Babe Ruth names, but
I thought about that, and then I thought, this is how I can cheat the system.
Of course.
So, yeah.
Can't play by the rules. Yeah, understood.
No, I stretched the rules. Totally different. I'm the loophole.
All right.
You are the loophole.
Yes.
Maybe you've just earned yourself a new nickname.
The loophole.
Right, Terry, your first ever top 5 pick. What will it be?
Da, da, da. All right, so you've seen him on Little Big League. You've seen him. He's a absolute crazy, big-eyed, crazy man on the mound. But I met him. He's the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. The Animal, Brad Leslie.
Yeah.
The Animal.
The Animal.
So if I remember right, after a brief big league career, he ended up in Japan for a long time. And then got into a few baseball films other than Little Big League.
Right. So after I went to Giants Fantasy Camp in 2004, I met him at the kids camp that Rob Andrews held.
What were you doing hanging around a bunch of little kids?
I was coaching. I coached for 6 weeks right after.
Terry the other animal.
Well, I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn a bunch of basic fundamentals because I coached Special Olympics. And so by learning, going to kids camp, I got to learn all the great little rhymes and poems, how to throw and things like that. And Brad Leslie was the pitching coach because he had come for a day. And I'm like, wow, that's Brad Leslie, and he is crazy. He's the nicest guy ever.
He was really good with the kids, if I remember right. They kind of gravitated to him. You know, you're just a big teddy bear. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, Rob Weber, what's yours?
Number 5 for me is a classic. A Chicago White Sox, Cleveland Indians outfielder by the name of Walt No Neck Williams.
Very nice.
Yes.
Why do you call him that?
I wish I had a visual for everybody, but Mr. Williams, who, by the way, despised his nickname, literally had no neck. I thought on his baseball cards that he was playing a joke, but it was just a head that sat on shoulders. Decent ball player, but that nickname stuck with him throughout his career, and there was a reason for it. I mean, ball players can be mean sometimes, and that nickname stuck with him, and it's one of my classics. So that's my number 5 pick.
Excellent.
Okay?
Good choice.
Yep.
All right. Jeff, you're the producer tonight. What's
I'm
next?
the producer.
I'm just glad I have a neck.
I think Robbie said something about watching Bip Roberts' show recently.
Yeah, I watched Bip's show today, as a matter of fact.
Very nice.
So many of you probably are familiar with former player Bip Roberts, who had a distinguished career playing with the Padres and the Reds and a couple other teams. Bip is a super entertaining, high energy guy. He actually got his nickname because he would always ask for a little bit more food, but couldn't say bit. It kept coming out Bip. So Leon became Bip, and it just stuck with him. So there's your little trivia. But Bip Roberts has got his show, Bip's Blips. He'll talk anything baseball. Today he was even like live broadcasting the A's game while he was on the show. Like he would get sidetracked. Oh, 2-1 slider. That was in the dirt. I wouldn't have thrown it there. But anyway, Bip is he's a real super knowledgeable baseball guy. I think when you're undersized and you have to make up for some of your talent or make up for some of the skills, that you learn a lot more. And he can talk baseball all day long. He can talk historically. He can talk current stuff. And he's a great leader in the community. And just it's a good guy, and it's a fun listen. So his stories are good, and love you to tune into Bip's Blips when you're on the Mic'd Up app.
Great. All right. We are on to number 4 in the best baseball nicknames of all time.
Number 4.
Very good. Very good,
Very
Count.
nice.
Thank you. Thank you. We need to get a recording of the count.
Yes.
Wow,
So,
we have Terry.
I'll just fill in the meantime.
Oh, please do. Please do. Jeff, what is the number 4 best nickname in your opinion?
All right. So when you're a kid playing ball and you have a weird running style, and the coach sees you running and your arms are flapping all over the place while you're running, and you got this long, skinny neck, there's only one name you can go with: Norman Turkey Stearns.
So Norman, or Turkey Stearns as we call him, he was part of the Negro Baseball Leagues.
He was back in the 30s and 40s again, back in that prime time of when the Negro Leagues had so many characters and so many stars. He was routinely referred to as one of the best pure hitters and one of the best power hitters of his day.
Excellent. Excellent.
Good pick.
I think, for those of you who want to believe that we are even bigger nerds than we already are, we have played Stratomatic using the Negro League baseball players, and Turkey Stearns is one of the better cards in the game.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. Robbie.
All right, my number 4, it cracks me up. This guy, I don't think he really needed a nickname based on his actual real name. He played for the Pirates and the Boston Bees in the late 30s and early 40s. Johnny Dickshot. Johnny Dickshot. Like, that wasn't a curse enough, right? You're Johnny Dickshot. You're going to take a lot for that, so to speak.
Yeah.
His nickname was Ugly. So think about it. There's a guy roaming around in the field playing Major League Baseball named Ugly Johnny Dickshot. So, I mean, the best thing I found out about Ugly Johnny Dickshot is that somebody asked him about his nickname one day, and he said, "But I've got a great personality."
What other response can you have at that
Absolutely. So, Johnny Dickshot, here's to you, ugly man. Number 4.
Tara.
My number 4 is pretty simple. It's cute. The kids love it. And it's the baby giraffe, Brendan Belt.
Yes.
Very nice.
So we went from Walt No Neck Williams to Brandon, the longest neck in the history of baseball.
That's right. Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. That's my pick.
And trivia on top of that, the Discovery Kingdom Animal Park named their next baby giraffe after him.
No way.
Yes.
Brandon.
Yep. They named the baby giraffe Brandon.
Oh, that's good.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Number 4 for me is Bill the Spaceman Lee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good one.
Unbelievably, the guy is still pitching today He pitches. I think he's even pitched for the Savannah Bananas.
He has.
I think he had a heart attack down in the bullpen one night. Recovered. And he's all right. But during his career, he was known as the Spaceman because he had some views on life and what might be happening on other planets that kind of made him feel like he was kind of out there and not living on in the same plane as the rest of us. So
how about solar system?
Yeah, the sports writers and sportscasters loved interviewing him because they knew they weren't going to get yes or no answers. It was going to be some long, drawn out, weird thing that they'd probably have to cut off. But he is my number 4, Build a Spaceman Lee.
Always a good pick.
Good one.
All right.
He's a local guy too, or he used to be local. He's from Marin County.
Oh, yeah.
I think he moved to Arizona currently, something like that. Number 3.
No.
No.
Oh no!
Before we go to number 3, I have a very important question for you all.
Oh.
What you drinking?
Ah.
Oh, wow.
What you drinking? Sponsored by our friends at Almanac Brewing.
Robbie, tell us a little bit about Almanac Brewing while I get this beer can open.
Almanac Brewing is a high-end craft beer producer based in Alameda, California. I believe they started in San Francisco, moved out to Alameda as they expanded production. They originally started in the business focused on sours, and they still make some incredible sour beers if that's your thing. But they have branched into other flavors, and they continue to grow, and they are just a really outstanding producer of great beers. And if you live in the Bay Area and you haven't been there, you need to swing by and visit the folks at Alameda at Almanac Brewing. So tonight I'm drinking, and we'll all talk about what we're drinking. I'm drinking the next beer in their lager series, which is their Rocktoberfest. Just delicious, very Martin style beer, ton of flavor, a lot of malt. If you're kind of burned out on hops right now, that malt flavor, not overpowering, but it's rich and flavorful, and it's yet still a refreshing beer. So this is a delicious way to celebrate Oktoberfest, and as we roll in out of summer into the fall. So what else are you guys drinking?
Terry, why don't you tell us? I think Terry froze.
Terry froze. I can tell you from the can that he is drinking the Flow Pale Ale.
And he loves it so much he's frozen in time.
I'm worried about him because that can's got to be getting heavy.
Well, I decided to, if you got a winner, why change? Stick with it. So I am drinking the Kolsch, the true Kolsch. Nice, light beer, very tasty, not too heavy. Especially, we've been going through a nice heat wave. This is really refreshing on those hot days.
Excellent.
Oh, he's back.
So Terry, was that beer can heavy while you were frozen?
Mike?
Your internet went down?
My feed said it was over.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's not. Talk about your beer.
Talk about your beer.
Well, I kept talking. I could see myself going. But anyway, I've got the Almanac Flow. It's a West Coast pale. Happy, chill, hoppy. It's good.
All right. Well said.
Good.
Why elaborate?
All right,
Terry.
All right, here we go.
Terry, because I can't describe my beers very well, other than to say that they're really good. I have been given a script, so I'm going to read all about my beer. Now listen up. I have the Almanac Cherry Sour Nova. I'm told that I have some other Sour Novas on the way, so I'm really excited about that. But the cherry is mixed into the Almanac lineup with a peach, a blackberry, a fruit punch, a strawberry, a plum, and an apricot. Okay. These interstellar wonders are naturally conditioned mixed culture sparkling ales aged for months in oak barrels with real fruit. The results are astronomically juicy and refreshing brews. So that's what I got. The Almanac Cherry Sour Nova.
Nice. Cheers.
All right. Cheers to that, everybody.
All right.
Which should take us to number 3 now.
Now
Number
are we-
3.
Very good. Now, all right. Jeff, what do you got?
So you saw a theme earlier in my list, and I won't stray too far away from that theme this evening, but this one I had to put in there. And I'm going to stretch the rules like Rob, and I'm picking 2.
What?
I respect that decision.
We were at the Hall of Fame. We were looking at the plaques. And I came across a name that I recognized. And I said, didn't his brother also play? Yeah, and his plaque's right next to him. And then I saw the nicknames. Oh, come on. It was the Wayner brothers, Paul and Lloyd, Big Poison and Little Poison. And so I looked up and found out, tried to find the origin of it. The best anybody can come up with was they grew up in New York, and Paul was bigger than Lloyd, and they were calling him Big Person and Little Person. But in a heavy Brooklyn accent, it sounded like Big Poison, Little Poison. And it stuck.
That's awesome. I've forgotten it. Very good. Very good. Robbie.
All right. This one cracked me up. And if you probably, as Jeff has a certain theme to most of his list tonight, I also have a theme and ones that just made me laugh. So this guy was a second baseman for the Detroit Tigers. In 1962, he led the major leagues in errors. He was just a horrible, horrible fielder. And that's also the year the first James Bond film came out. And the villain in that film had no hands. His teammates began calling him the name of that villain. So Chuck Hiller became Dr. No. Dr. No, no hands.
Love it. Love
that
it.
one, I love that one. So anyway, that's it. Chuck Hiller, Dr. No.
Dr. No. Dr. No. Cool. All right. Terry.
Well, my number 3 pick, if you couldn't tell, I'm kind of San Francisco Giants heavy on this. But speaking of heavy, Pablo Sandoval, the Kung Fu Panda.
Yep.
Yes. Very nice.
He's a
No, Terry, did you own a Pablo hat?
a panda hat.
The panda hat?
Jonesy does.
Oh.
There might
Why
be
aren't
one.
you wearing it?
Because it's 100 degrees in here. That's why.
Yeah, Pablo.
Good pick.
Another
pick.
great. The kids love him. Good guy. Good enough guy.
Yep.
Excellent. Number 3. I'm going to go with Mark the Bird Fidrich.
Oh.
Good choice.
Just was reminded of him recently on the MLB channel. They run a show every once in a while that's the story of his life. And it was filmed a few years before he died. He died in an accident on his farm.
Yeah.
They were interviewing him for segments of it, and they were interviewing family members before and after the tragedy. And they were just talking about the phenomenon that he was. I remember growing up and watching baseball and seeing every weekend it's always the Yankees or the Red Sox on TV. Yankees or Red Sox. It's like no other teams existed.
Yeah.
When Fidrich came on, suddenly the TV networks were interested in having this guy on their primetime show. And, and all of his eccentric activities on the mound, brushing the dirt, talking to the ball, and then that hair that made him look like Big Bird from Sesame Street, and just a genuine personality, a good person. Wasn't trying to intimidate anybody, just out there having a great time, just what you're supposed to be. So
You remember
he's
that?
the number 3 pick for me.
Do you remember that game? I think it was on Monday Night Baseball on ABC when his first national appearance, and Chet Lemon made a great running catch out in center field, and Fidrich ran all the way out there to shake his hand and thank him for catching the ball.
I haven't seen that in a while.
Oh yeah,
That
that's
little
great.
documentary is a good one, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Rob,
What is next, Jeff?
doesn't Rick Barry have a show on this app as well?
Hey, I'm gonna offload reload.
Okay.
All right. Let me tell you a little bit about Rick. Rick's show is not on a strict schedule. You'll see it from time to time. If you open up the app, you'll see when they have an upcoming show. And by they, I mean Rick and his producer, Cyrus. They will be both on the screens simultaneously, and Cyrus will run the show, take in the comments, and get the questions in front of Rick. And Rick is great about providing his opinion. And any of you who have known Rick in the past for being very frank and very honest, that's what he is. Take it or leave it. I find it refreshing. I find it interesting to listen to him because he's not holding anything back. He's telling you what he thinks. He's not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. He's just trying to tell you the truth and what he thinks. Folks were pointing out that, the name of the show escapes me, but HBO has a show on now about the Lakers and when Magic Johnson was coming into the league.
Mm-hmm.
And Rick is featured in that show. And
oh, nice.
The actor that plays him is very much like Rick is in real life. He's got an opinion. He doesn't agree with the direction of something. He's going to let people know. And I've always appreciated that about him. The show is very solid and has a decent viewership in terms of folks calling in and participating. So I'd give it a shot. Again, if you're interested in any of these shows, look in the Mic'd Up app, open up the show, look for the host, and follow them by clicking on the hand next to their name within the show. For our show in particular, right now, if you open up the show, you need to follow either myself or Jeff Jonesy. And every time there is a schedule update, you will receive a notification via your phone. All right. We move on to number 2.
Rick Barry, the original underhand free throw.
That's right.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
I remember my dad had season tickets when I was a kid at the Coliseum. He's great.
I remember he used to teach that underhand free throw method to other people with mixed results.
Yeah. But he was deadly.
Yes.
Okay.
Jeff, let's get back to our nicknames, the top 5 nicknames of all time. Number 2 for Jeff.
Number 2.
All right, so I'm going back to my theme. This guy got his nickname when he was growing up as a kid, and he was working as a porter at a train station and hotel, and he was carrying people's bags, and he figured out a way to if he carried more bags, he got more money. So he got a big long pole and a bunch of rope, and he figured out a way that he could, I saw that, Rob, that he could carry multiple bags on the pole at one time. And what were bags called back then? Satchels. Leroy Satchel Page.
Excellent.
Yeah, nobody knows his name was Leroy.
That's right. Nobody knows exactly when he was born because he never told anybody, and they can't find any records.
Oh.
So he could have been, when he pitched in the major leagues in his 40s, in his 50s, he could have been 60, he could have been 45. Nobody really knows.
Could have been an alien. How about that, Rob?
Well, he was a prominent feature in our recent visit to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum
Yes.
in Kansas City. Highly recommend that to anybody that's in the area. You got to take that in. Won't take you too long.
Fascinating.
Yep.
Yeah.
Museum.
And they are
Agreed.
currently trying to raise money to build a bigger one down the street in the old warehouse where they first signed all the contracts to make it a league with Rube Foster and all those other owners. So they are in the process of hopefully getting that built in the next year or two.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, Robbie. Oh, you're muted.
Your mic.
I hate that kind of stupid fail thing.
That's 2 tonight, buddy.
Yeah, but the first one was classic. This was just stupid. Yeah, so my number 2 guy, or my number 2 spot, I picked for 2 reasons, which made perfect sense to me mathematically. The first reason, he coached Johnny Dickshot in the minors.
Ugly Johnny Dickshot?
Ugly Johnny Dickshot, yes, he was a coach for him. But second, our very first episode, as you know, we did our top 5 baseball movies, and a common film that kept coming up was Bull Durham. And this guy, one day decided that he didn't want to go to practice and flooded the field, which is exactly what the movie in Bull Durham, what they based the scene on, off of Swamp Baby Charlie Wilson.
Really?
Nice.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. Infielder that played for Boston and St. Louis, and then also coached Johnny Dickshot. So it was a pretty full career for him, and the nickname Swamp Baby is certainly something to talk about.
Yes.
I had no idea. Yeah. I learned something every day.
I did a vast amount of research for this.
all of minutes.
Well, once I found Johnny Dickshot, it was like this tree. You know, how do you follow the branches? So,
all right, Tara, what is the number 2 best nickname of all time?
Number 2 for me is designated hitter, the Big Hurt, Frank Thomas.
Big Hurt. Yeah,
Big Hurt.
Good one. Good one.
Such a good guy.
And well-deserved nickname.
Yeah. Yeah. He was a threat.
And he's got a high alcohol beer that's like just a normal Pilsner or lager, but it's like 7%.
Oh, it's a Big Hurt.
The Big Hurt, yeah.
The only time I see him now are on those commercials with Doug Flutie where they're talking about Nugenics or something like that. Apparently women really like this when men use this. I don't know too much about it.
She'll like it too.
Maybe he should change his name to Johnny Dickshot.
All right. Number 2 for me is Jim Catfish Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Good choice.
Now, you're probably wondering why so many Oakland A's had nicknames back in the day. Almost every player had a nickname.
Why?
Why is it so important for these players to have nicknames? It's because Charlie Finley decided that everybody needed to have a nickname. If you look on the internet, you can find Jim Catfish Hunter's Hall of Fame acceptance speech with Charlie Finley in the audience. And he describes the day that he was given the name Catfish. He introduced himself as Jim Hunter, and Finley decided that before he left that room, he would have a nickname. And they finally settled on Catfish because that was one of the things that Catfish Hunter would do as a child. He would go fishing and catch catfish. So I'm curious about some of the others like Blue Moon Odom and so forth, but that's Jim Catfish Hunter's story. All right.
Very nice. Very nice.
You remember Finley tried to get Vita Blue to change his name to True.
Yes.
True Blue.
Yeah.
Did Vita have a nickname?
Just Vida.
Didn't need one. When
Yeah.
you're named Vida, you don't need one.
He did not have. He was one of the few players that did not have his last name on the back of his uniform. He was just.
That's true.
Oh.
Okay, Jeff. What's next on the agenda?
There's another show on our app by Jim Darby. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I actually met Jim today.
Oh,
For the
good.
first time. Had coffee with him. Learned a little bit more about his background. As I said earlier in the show, the group of us all met by playing adult league baseball together, and many of us went to either the Giants or the A's fantasy camp. I'm talking to Jim, telling him a little bit about myself, and he says, well, I went to Giants camp too. Jim is a former executive with Easton Bats. He also, I believe, worked for Mizuno during his career. And Jim's job was to sign any new talent and make sure that they were happy with their contracts. So he was the guy that flew out to various destinations and wined and dined people in order to get them to sign. One of his clients was Pete Rose. And he was asked by his company at the time, Easton, to follow Pete around during the time that he was going to break Ty Cobb's base hits record, because they wanted to make sure that when Pete did indeed break the record, he was wearing the right product. Oh, and that was Mizuno, not Easton. So that was Jim's job at the time, and he's got tons of great stories, great storyteller. He has a show coming up on Wednesday this week, so take a look in this app, and the upcoming show, you'll see it Wednesday the 16th. Jim Darby.
Sounds like an interesting guy.
Yeah, very much.
Awesome.
All right. We have reached the point in the show where we are giving our number one baseball nickname pick. All
Number
right.
one.
Very good. Very good. Jeff.
All right. And to round off my theme, the only explanation that this guy would ever give about why he was named this was, if you gotta ask, you just won't understand. The fastest man in the Negro Leagues, the guy who Satchel Paige said he could turn out a light and be in bed before it got dark, James Cool Papa Bell.
Papa
Excellent
Bell.
nickname. Excellent nickname.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm starting to see a theme. The Negro League players just have better nicknames.
Oh, yeah. Oh, trust me, I have 10 on my honorable mentions.
All right. Robbie.
All right, my number one, because the computer wore tennis shoes is not really a nickname for a baseball player. My number one, this guy was known as Stumpy most of his life. And then one night he was trying to impress a girl. So he got her tickets for her and her little sister to go to the ball game, and then met them immediately after the game near the field where a bunch of players were gathered around. And the little sister called this guy Rabbit because the way he was bouncing around on the field. And it turns out this guy was quite the character. I could go into hours and hours of stories about Rabbit Moranville.
And you have many times.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Usually over an Almanac beer.
Yes. I would have been disappointed if you didn't pick Rabbit Moran.
Walter J. Rabbit Moranville.
Very nice.
That's my number one pick.
Very
Let's
nice.
just put it this way. As the group of us go on our little vacations, baseball vacations across the country, there isn't a day that goes by where Rob doesn't mention Rabbit Moranville. So.
There wasn't a corner you can turn in Cooperstown where he didn't show up. And it was like, why the hell do they have anything Rabbit Moranville here besides just plaque?
All right, Chair. Number one.
Number one, it is center fielder Faye Dancer?
Who's that? I didn't hear you.
All the way May.
All the way.
Like May.
They did a special on her with A League of Their Own, but Faye Dancer is the actual person they fashioned that player
I see.
after. She's
Very
a center
nice.
fielder back in the Women's Professional Baseball League.
Played by Madonna.
Played by Madonna, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Now I know who we're talking about. All right.
Yes.
All the way Faye.
Yeah, yeah, but maybe so. I'll double check that.
Yeah.
Maybe so. Anyway,
Very nice.
All right.
all the way May. Or Faye.
Okay. My number one best baseball nickname of all time. The player's name is Mark Sebzinski,
Oh,
Put that on the back of a jersey.
and his name is spelled. Now, everybody, get out a pencil and write this down. RZEPCZNSKI. Let me do that one more time.
no.
RZEPCZNSKI. Zepninski.
10 letters.
I think I got that right. So there are other players with weird names that are a problem to pronounce. There was a Giants player by the name of Doug Goosh, GWOSDZ, and the players called him iChart, and that's understandable. But
Yeah.
Zepzinski's nickname was Scrabble, because if you had these letters, you were going to win the game.
Very nice.
How many points is that?
I think that's in a triple word score, Tara. I mean, we got 300 points right here. All right. What do we got next?
I think we need to hear some comments from those listeners who were kind enough to hit that mic button and record some comments for us.
And there's still
and
time,
remember,
folks. There's still time.
If you are listening, there's still time to get your picks in. But Rob, can you play some of these?
Yeah, unless Jeff has them queued up already.
I do not. Go for it.
Okay. Our first comment's from B-Rad.
My top 5 big nicknames in baseball are, 1, the Say Hey Kid, because Willie Mays couldn't remember anybody's name, so he would just say Hey. The Big Hurt, because that's what he did to people. Charlie Hustle. And Hammerin' Hank Aaron. And one of my favorites of all time is the Wizard of Oz, because that's how he performed on the field.
Those are all pretty good choices.
Yeah. He went with 4 power hitters, or I should say 3 power hitters, the hits king and the fielding wizard of all time. So
Yes.
Not bad.
Or 4 hit kings, and you're not getting in the Hall of Fame.
That'll bring up Hammy.
Top 5 favorite baseball player nicknames. Baby Giraffe, of course. Number 5. Number 4 would be Kung Fu Panda. Number 3 is the Sandman, Mariano Rivera. Number 2, I'm going to go with the Sultan of SWAT, Babe Ruth. And then my favorite is Oil Can Boyd.
Good choice.
Look it up and you'll know why it's my favorite.
Good choice.
And I think he's referring to, because a lot of people thought Oil Can was because of his weird hitchy wind up, like he needed some oil.
Yeah.
Where he grew up in the South, oil cans were beer cans.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oil can could put away some oil.
And if I remember, wasn't he like 6 feet tall and weighed about 160 pounds?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The antithesis of you. Okay, Big Juicy is up.
Number 5 would be the Mad Hungarian Al Roboski, fighting and pre-pitch routine. Number 4, Crime Dog Fred McGriff, Hall of Famer. Number 3, Mariano Rivera, Enter the Sandman. Number 2, probably the reason why we have a pitch clock in today's game is the human rain delay, Mike Hargrove. And number 1, Oil Can Boyd, as I sip my Almanac Love Hazy IPA.
Oh, apparently Big Juicy knows about the oil can.
So our listeners may or may not know about Mike Hargrove. He was so frustrating to watch on TV. He was a good hitter, but he had batting gloves that he had to readjust after every swing or not swing. I got to put these back on. So he'd step out and he's pulling on these, unbuttoning them, rebuttoning them, and just get back in the box and swing. There were times I saw umpires say, "Get in the box." So,
that might be a good question for Jim Darby to see about merchandising and exposure.
Oh yeah, human rain delay. Yeah.
Hey, Johnny Dickshot never used a glove.
As far as we know.
Here's a comment from Vonnie.
Okay, my top 5 player nicknames are, and these are all Giants fan here. Number 5, Late Night Lamont Wade Jr. Number 4, Woody, Kirk Reeder. Number 3, the Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays, of course. Number 2, good old Roger Craig at Hum Baby. And my number 1, because this is one of my husband's favorite players, Will the Thrill. Will.
Will.
Yeah.
Got to have Will on there.
So she mentions Roger Craig and his Hum Baby.
Yeah.
Who was the original Hum Baby?
David Hum of the Oakland Raiders, backup quarterback extraordinaire.
The original Hum Baby was previously mentioned in this show, Doug Goosh.
Doug Goosh, okay.
And
really,
for folks that may not know Kirk Reeder, they should. But if we're talking about folks across the country, he was called Woody because he looked like Woody from the Toy Story movies.
Yeah, and it wasn't like incidental look, like it was pretty much straight on.
Yeah. Instead of wearing a baseball uniform, he probably should have worn cowboy boots and
There's a snake in my boots. Hey, we got another one from go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say a Late Night Lamont would love for him to have some more late game theatrics and heroics for the Giants.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be him. I'll take anybody.
Yeah.
Somebody do something.
Somebody who can remember how to hit.
Yeah.
Hey, we got another one in from Brent.
My number 5 pick, Robbie will know why I picked this one, is Kyle Seager, otherwise known to his teammates as Corey's brother. Number 4 would be Dennis Boyd, otherwise known as Oil Can Boyd. Then there's the Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays. Number 2, Hammer and Hank Aaron. And number 1, Lawrence Berra, Yogi. Those are my 5 best nicknames.
Nailed it there.
Cheers, fellas.
Yeah. Oh, I heard a beer in there.
Oh, I heard a beard pop too.
I'm going to guess that was an Almanac Kolsch.
I'm sure it is. Knowing him, that's a Kolsch right there.
Yeah.
I think he's into the cherry sour novas myself.
Well, if he's got any taste at all.
He just might.
I think we have one more on the top 5 here, it looks like so far. Marty Brown, one of our compatriots, has checked in.
Top 5 from Marty. Say Hey Kid, the Splendid Splinter, Spaceman Bill Lee, Three Fingers Brown, and Shoeless Joe Jackson, with Oil Can Boyd and Charlie Hustle in the bullpen. There it is. Marty has spoken.
Good honorable mention.
So I do find it odd that Marty Brown has chosen Mordecai Three-Fingered Brown, but Could be related. I don't know.
Yes.
Three Fingers was an accident. He
Yeah.
actually lost two
Yep.
fingers. You know.
Yeah, so did Mordecai Brown.
Yeah, I think you're missing the point there.
Maybe we should start calling Marty just Mordecai.
I believe that's Marty the one man party.
Yes, there is that.
Yes.
So we got any? I got a couple I thought about including, but ended up not. I always liked Mike Lavalier from the Pirates. He was 5'8" and about 240 pounds. He was a dead ringer from Spanky from the Little Rascals. So that was his nickname, was Spanky. And then Don Stanhouse, the reliever, when he was with the Orioles, Earl Weaver called him Full Pack because Earl Weaver felt like he had to smoke a full pack of cigarettes to get through one of his outings. And then, of course, Sarge, Gary Matthews.
Sarge. Yes.
Yep. Taking the orders and going out there and leading the team on the field. He got that.
Nice.
Sarge says he got the nickname from Pete Rose. And Pete Rose said, when you get a nickname from a Hall of Famer, it sticks. And Sarge says, he was half right.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
I always liked the nickname the Bash Brothers, McGuire and Canseco.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. There,
Yeah.
we do have some tandems that got nicknames that we should pass along as well. So
Yeah, that's a good one. Or Pronk.
Yeah.
That's the other one I thought about. Travis Hafner was known as Pronk because he was half project, half donkey.
So a couple of my honorables. I had a couple that we've already heard. Splendid Splinter, Shoeless Joe. Honus Wagner, the Flying Dutchman.
Oh, that's a good one.
I always liked that one. And then back to the Negro Leagues. Mule Suttles, Biz Mackey, and Judd Boone June Wilson.
wait, say that one again.
Judd Boo June Wilson.
Wow.
It was supposedly the sound the ball made when it cracked off the wall on his line drive.
Bajoom.
So some lesser players. Choo Choo Coleman, the Mets. I think it was the backup catcher on the original
62 Mets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pumpsy Green.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see.
And Pumpsy was the first black player to play for the Red Sox.
Oh, very nice. You know who hasn't been said? I thought would show up on somebody's list. Mr. October.
That's true. That's true.
Reggie Jackson.
Okay. What about Mr. November?
Derek
Jeter. Just put him. Get him off.
Like that.
What about
He didn't like his nickname.
Yeah.
What about the Wonder Hamster?
Who's that?
Matt Stairs. he kind of looked hamstery.
That's just another instance of you can't choose your own nickname.
Yeah.
I know people have tried, but you go with what you're given.
You have to earn it.
I really thought Jeff was going to bring up Luke Appling too. Old aches and pains.
Old aches and pains.
Hey, it looks like Bonnie has chimed in with something else here.
Oh.
What about the beard? That would be Brian Wilson. Crazy ass dude.
That's right.
Well, dog approved.
Yeah,
Dog
dog
approved.
the dog loved that.
Sounded familiar.
Yeah.
And the beard finished the game. The freak started the game.
That's true. I forgot about
Tim
that.
Lincecum.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then we got Lou Gehrig, the Iron Horse.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, let's face it. There's some colorful nicknames.
Yeah.
There was a guy.
All right, next week topics.
More
The next round
nicknames.
of nicknames.
There was a guy, and it's funny, I can't think of his name now, but I read about it today in the late 1800s that played, and it was his nickname was called "Where Flying Things Die," and he was a center fielder that apparently covered a ton of ground and caught everything.
Very cool.
It's like
That's
"Where
very good
Flying
nickname.
Things Die." Come on.
Yes.
That's just a little bit too long to be a nickname. Yeah.
No, yeah, but come on. Where Flying Things Die.
I like it.
And then
All right.
I got one more.
Okay.
Scrap Iron.
Scrap iron. Who's that?
Scrap iron.
Phil Garner.
Really?
That's right.
I'd never heard that one.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Phil Garner was
Very
called
good.
Scrap Iron. Yep.
Very good.
The Sheik,
The Sheik?
Oh,
Mike
Yeah.
Stadek, the longtime catcher with the Giants. Coco LaBoy. Nobody names their child Coco.
no, that's kind of a drag queen name. Next up, Coco LaBoy.
Boots Day.
Boots, catcher for the Expos.
No, outfielder.
Outfielder, okay.
Very nice.
All right, I think we've run through the gamut, folks. Any more questions on here?
The Splendid Splinter is Ted Williams, by the way.
Yes.
Correct.
Just fill that in.
Robbie, did we go through all the questions?
We had one what you drink it answer, and that's about it.
Well, that's
Oh,
not good.
We can hear it.
An Almanac Flow, the West Coast Pale. And it's delicious. How about you? What are you drinking, Jonesy?
I'm still liking this True Kolsch. Very tasty.
And I'm in the current release of the lager series from Almanac, the Rocktoberfest.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh.
So go visit Almanac.
Yeah.
Tell them we sent you.
Tell them you heard it from the highlights from Lowlife show. They'll take good care of you.
Over in Alameda. And another thing for you all to note is there may in the very near future be highlights from Lowlifes merchandise. We're looking at shirts, hats, socks. Really not socks.
Koozies.
Koozies. Yeah, that's right. So we will get back to you with an announcement, but the current plan is for us to do another show next Monday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And when we announce the show, we will announce the topic so that you can get your comments into us. You can leave your comments on the show once it's scheduled. You can do that anytime you want before the show starts. We like to have a lot of comments to play on the air. You can give us those comments while we're on the air, but you can do it in advance as well in case you can't make the show. The archived versions of these shows can be found in this app, and they will also start filtering out to the rest of the internet soon. All right? Hey, everybody, thank you for joining us tonight, and we will see you next Monday night.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.